Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to Blazy B, where I'm Blazed and I'm B. You guys, this week, I'm still in recovery mode just a little bit from my friends coming. The Effingham crew came out and it was incredible. It was, oh, it was so good. We did so many things and I was wiped all fucking week. I mean, what? I feel like I was a zombie at work. I was just in like, you know, auto zone, just doing it. And oh, but it was so worth it. I also feel like really revived at the same time. You know that high you get when you just have a good visit or a good trip and then you're just like, "Whoa." But you're exhausted at the same time, but it was so fucking worth it cuz it was so much fun. That's how I feel about this. So, the Evan crew came out and they got here on Thursday night and left like Monday evening afternoon. Um and then yeah, Drewski stayed another day. He had a whole other part of his trip. So that was cool. But I had so many things planned. I was ready. I am such a trip planner, and it doesn't need to be followed whatsoever, but it needs to be thought out very nicely in order to function. And there should be like options, like what is the vibe? And also like down to just vibe and walk around and figure out what the next move is. That's cool too. But at least we have a starting point. At least we have suggestions, you know? So I was fucking prepared. And thankfully, Matthew had the day off on Friday. And so it was like, yo, you can take the kids and I will hit up you guys in the afternoon. And then we've got evening plans. We got Saturday plans, Sunday plans. And then Monday I got to work. So you guys are on your own. And Matthew's doing his own thing. So like you guys are on your own. And yeah, love you, bye. So it went by so fast, but we did so much. We slept good every single night. And it was just, yeah, I'm going to toot my own horn because I was fucking fire. I had a fire schedule and it was superb weather. I had been manifesting very good weather for weeks, maybe months, but weeks really. And no rain. I mean, it was like, wait, is there actually rain in Seattle? This is like gorgeous. How is this? Is this always like this? I'm like, no, 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 no. But the mountains were out. We saw Rainier all the time. Um, all the time. And then we saw Baker, Cascades, Olympics, like everything was out to play. And we got up to Deception Pass up north, close to Anacortes, and on Whidbey Island. And I mean, that place is just incredible. And then it was just beautiful out. So we got to do all the hikes. Yeah, it was just a really good time. Um, but it makes me think about traveling and how to be a good host because I feel like I've heard horror stories of somebody going to visit someone and it was just like not what they expected and or they just didn't do anything and it was like what are we supposed to do? Like you're not taking the lead on anything. And so I feel like there's some boundaries with hosting and being a visitor. And that's a specific thing. You're not going to a hotel, you don't have an Airbnb. It's not your whole show. You are at someone else's house and you chose to do this. You had a choice. You could either use the hotel, use the Airbnb, use whatever that did not include other people, but you chose to stay with that person. That's a choice. So and then I mean, yeah, there's a lot. You're in someone else's space, whether big or small, and you're using all their things. You are inserting yourself into their life, their real life, their day-to-day life, and you're in vacation mode. And it's an interesting mix of energy. And so I feel like you gotta prep for that, both people or both parties, whatever as to what is to come. There's got to be expectations for trips that you've you know, for instance, I I worked. I had to work part of the time and it was like, okay, you guys got to be self-sufficient. If you want to mope around the house and do nothing, that's fine. Just don't fucking complain about it. Or you go out and you explore. You have modes of transportation, you have options to do. And I feel like as a host, you at least have to have options for people to do, like a free option, or, here's some other things. we know our friends. We know our friends well. We know if they're outdoorsy people or not, if they want to see the city, if they da 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 da. Da. The worst is when someone's like, I don't care. I don't care what we do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And then if it's like, oh, we didn't do this, I did not know you wanted to do that. Thank you for communicating. You have to communicate. And I love, okay, so I go on a lot of trips with people, and I feel like we live off of like the one non-negotiable thing. You pick something and I pick something, and we're going to do both of those things, and then outside of that, it doesn't matter what we do. You at least got the one thing that you really wanted to do, and that sticks with you. And you're going to have fun at doing the other thing, and there's more things to be had. But like in Guatemala, Dallas really wanted to hike this fucking volcano. What the hell? But I'm down. Let's do it. That's your non-negotiable. Let's go. Me, I wanted to go deep into the fucking jungle on a really long, far away, minimum 2 night stay, because you just can't do that turnaround um situation and jump off cliffs into water. Bet she's down. Let's do it. And then the rest we just filled in, and that's nice. And also I feel like this, whether visiting people or just on a trip, you have to be chilled to be like split off. It is a very good trip when both parties are able to, or multiple parties, you kind of like separate a little bit and do what you actually want to do. I hate going on a trip and being like, well, I didn't do anything I want. Granted, that has not happened to me many times. I stand up for myself because these are my trips. I want to create my memories and I don't need to live in someone else's fantasy. There's give and take, but like, I don't want to be the person that's just like, it doesn't matter wherever you want to do. No, I have thoughts. I have thoughts on this. Um, and you just got to communicate with these people when you're traveling and set the expectation of what you want this to be. What's your non negotiable? And also, think of the other party. If they're not an outdoorsy person and they can't hike a volcano, don't be a bitch. But hey, I really want to hike this volcano while we're down there. And I don't know if you'd want to do that, but you could stay at the hostel for 2 nights by yourself and kind of like do whatever you want. Fine. There you go. If everyone's in agreement and just like communicating about these things, why not do what you want to do? You are an adult, you are paying for this trip. Might as well make it a very good trip. And you meet so many people when you travel. if everyone if everyone had the opportunity to travel internationally, I feel like the world would be a very different place, because you have so many decisions you have to make, and non-negotiables and movements, and like, trains and planes and automobile, like all the things under pressure in a different place that you're not used to. It's just a very cool experience, and I feel like it can tear people apart or bring them together. But either way, it's like a journey of the soul. You come back a better person because you've dealt with a lot of things. You know how to handle yourself. So anyways, because you can visit friends internationally, you can visit them stateside, like same but different. You're still in someone else's space. Back to visiting humans, and like, I've learned to host from my mother, and if you know my mother, you know that what a host. I mean, she's got everything ready for you. Like the meals are already planned out, thought out, or at least the ingredients for these things are like, on hand. Everything's like ready to rock. Um, we've thought about what we're going to do on specific days, big days. Other than that, we're chilling. We can figure it out that day. Are you going to stay close? What's the weather going to be like? We can just hit the beach. We're very active, so we're down to do whatever, drive wherever to see whatever because we love nature. And so, I mean, mom just had snacks available and food on hand, and it was like quick food and things to get ready to put in the crock pot all day. Okay, we're going to go on a long hike. We're going to be out for the day. We're going to have this hot and ready when we get home. Perfect. Like, just little things like that. Also, like, she's made me signs for coming home, and you just feel very welcome when you enter our house. And that has a lot to do, with just hosting and being a visitor in our home. I feel like is very comfortable, which is really nice. That's very heartfelt and cozy. Gives me all the feels, because that's another thing. Like, if you're gonna be walking on eggshells in someone else's place, you can say no to staying at their place. You can go somewhere else. You don't have to do that. Or say you can only stay for a certain amount of time and then go do your thing. Um, and that's okay. That's okay. We're not meant to live with all of our friends and to interrupt their lives. And that's okay. Um, but yeah, yeah, if you feel uncomfortable, just get out of there. It's not worth it, in my opinion, to go stay at someone's house that you don't already feel comfy in, because it just kind of brings tension to the whole situation. That there's already tension of like, okay, do you have things planned for us or do we need to do things? And I feel like before you arrive, you should obviously like talk about the expectations of the trip. I love to make an itinerary, as you know. So, of course, I'm going to like pop this out and be like, yeah, but do whatever you want, Like, I don't give a shit. You guys tell me if there's specifics you want to do. But if you have no specifics, this is my suggestion. And it's like, great, awesome, cool. There were things to pick from, and just, yeah, it was fucking flawless, if you ask me. Oh, yeah, just superb. But also money being a thing, we drove, and also like I am willing to give all the time that I have to my friends. I don't mind being in their business the entire time. But it was so nice to, have my parents' house to just come back to. We all kind of had our own space and you could like go outside. Everyone took their time to like get around, and then we all came back together, because I don't get sick of my parents at all, really. Um, and so I'm down to hang out with them at all times, but it's nice to be able to have friends that like are okay excusing themselves to call their loved ones, to, like chill in their room, to like just take a moment. No harm, no foul, recoup. Let's rock the night away. So yeah, anyways, having these expectations beforehand and then setting it up to like fucking go, I'm down to give my time to all of nature. If they were like, oh my gosh, I really want to do like this very expensive situation, like we saved up all this money to do this, I'd be like, I don't know about that. I might drive you to the place, do my own thing. You guys have this experience, and like totally cool with you guys and me. I'm vibing. Um, but like boundaries in money, it's all back down to communication. If you're willing to spend money on something, tell somebody. And I'm just used to being so cheap because I am nice and poor. And I love nature. So I'm willing to pay for gas. Granted, gas right now is fucking expensive, but to me, it's a free activity. So, girl math that shit. But we just drove 2 hours north, and it was just stunning to then like have the day, go look at tulip fields, go for a hike, pretend we found Jacob and Edward in the forest. I mean, it was fucking incredible. And that's like, I'm willing to do that for my friends. I'm not making them, I'm also on this activity. I want to drive. Like, that's my treat. And so also like that aspect too, when people come to town and you're not a person that goes out to eat, and you don't have a lot of money, and then somebody comes to town, they're like, oh, I'd love to like really dine out. Oh, like, how do you deal with that? Communication. It might be like, "Hey, I don't know if I can actually afford that. I would love to go, but I don't know." Some people are really nice and they're like, "You know what? I would pay for your experience just because I want to do something and I would love to have someone with me." Like, people are negotiable and willing to do a nice thing every once in a while. So having those expectations between the host and the visitor of how much money you're willing to spend, what types of activities you're getting down to, um, are we sticking to the free stuff or in like seeing the city, going for like long walks? I know some people are not down to walk, and I'm down to walk a half marathon a day because why not? Why not see the city? Whatever. But maybe that person's down to scoot, those little motorized scooters, terrifying. But, flying down the streets of downtown, that'd be fun. And if that's the mode, okay, great. Those types of weaving in of situations. But I know that some people would be fucking dead if I was like, yeah, today we're going to just walk the city. And they wouldn't be able to walk the next day. And don't put someone through that. Like, compromise. Know your people that are coming to visit. And also, visitor, stand up for yourself. If you say, how many miles we talking? And 13, or like, I don't know if we're going to walk for 5 hours. If you can't do that, speak up. Speak up. There's just nothing worse about thinking of your friends are having a good time or not because they're not telling you and they just have no input on the situations. Those things are very frustrating as a host. So as a visitor, we should do good about that. But it is hard to stand up to your host, but at the same time, come on, these are friends, right? You're not going to stay. This isn't like a foreign exchange thing. Calm down. We can talk to our friends. But I acknowledge it is a little touchy on the subject. Right, right, right. Um and I feel like you you got to have some independent friends, and some people aren't that way and they would rather just like chill at your place and vibe until you're off work, and then you're like, okay, I just got back from being on all day and then I have to be on all night because you didn't do anything all day. That is such a burden for a host. And I feel like just to have people that are willing to get out and like use public transportation, or like maybe drop them off somewhere during like on my way to work, and it's like, okay, you have all day to just explore, go for it, do whatever. Also, Uber exists, like things exist, do something, come back home. And yeah, I feel like that just pigeonholes a whole trip if a friend is not willing to just do something outside of being with that host. Yes, you came to see that person, but also you got to see you got to see where you're at. They live there. Don't you want to see why they live there? So things like that. Just a thought I thought, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Um but yeah, I would like to give a round of applause for all hosts that host very well. Because no matter what, you are putting time and effort in just to have people in your house. You are cleaning, you are being actively like, okay, rearranging my life for other humans. And it's a nice thing to do. But it's fucking rewarding. I love hosting. I think it's so much fun. I'm also just like down. I'm down to go, go, go and recover later. I mean, every night that week, I would go to bed for like 9.5 hours and I wouldn't even go for my morning run. I was wiped. I was so wiped. But like every day I would smile and look at the pictures and relive what we just did that past weekend. And So worth it. Love every freaking minute of it, you know? You know what I mean? So I think this is more of just like how to have the best trip with your friends is, have some guidelines. Talk about it. Set the money standard beforehand. Like I went to Tomorrowland in Belgium, right? And I went with Jordan, and I remember before our trip, like months before our trip, I think we had just bought the ticket. And I mean, these festival tickets, I think were a grand a piece. Oh, and just to go to a festival. It was so great. It was so worth it. But, he said, Brittany, you need to save up 5 grand. I don't care if you spend it all, but at least you've got 5 grand to not think about when we get over there. And that was a bougie little trip. I took myself out on a 5 course meal because I could. I was ready with cash to like blow. Um, but one, I went alone on that 5 course meal. But it was like nice to be able and set that expectation like, okay, he's also wanting to spend some money and do some stuff. Let's go. And to have that build up. Yeah. So it made me prep a little more. And it set the zone or the standard for like, all right, we're gonna get down and dirty in Europe and we need some cash to set. Cause we went to Nice, my favorite place. Oh, is so great. Barcelona on that trip. We were in Vienna. Like it was yeah, we went to Bruges or no, not Bruges that time. Brussels. I think we came in through Antwerp. No, maybe the trip was left. I don't know. It's been a while. But Belgium's sick. Belgium's sick. Tomorrowland is dope. But you know what I mean? Like you're setting the expectation for these trips. And there's a lot of trips I just want to like friggin' go cheap as possible, and that's cool. And if a upgrade is like a $20 a night hostel instead of an $11 a night mixed little bedroom, that's okay. Willing to spend. Like what are you willing to spend your money on, and who are you traveling with that's also like in that realm? So yeah, there's just planning and communication and all things that you'd have to do with a partner, but these are your friends. um, but yeah. It's a full-time job to be a tour guide. And it helps when you have amazing friends coming to just explore and do their thing as well. And it makes things run so smoothly, and you end up having such an amazing time and a great trip with like so many positive memories. So I don't know. It just keys to a fabulous trip that will make you remember just pure bliss. Still riding the high from this trip. It was glorious. We hung out with the parents a lot. We had an Easter egg hunt in the backyard. It was just like so cute and perfect and smooth and like not dramatic and mm, so great. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Everybody should go on more trips, explore more personalities by doing that. You kind of get to, see your friends on a different side when people are under pressure or get in sticky situations. But that's more international travel. Take your friends international traveling, but max of 4 people, I've learned. Max of 4. These are just extras. Whatever. I'm a little high, right? Anyways, have a fabulous day and ciao ciao for now.